Hey, everybody. Today, I had a great conversation with participants in our programs. And the question that came up was, what's in my medicine cabinet? This is when we had medicine cabinets in our bathrooms. Remember that? So, what I would love today is it is fall and we're heading towards winter. So, we're falling into cold and flu season. So, what I'm going to do today is I'm going to do a quick and easy version of how to bulletproof your immunity and what's in my medicine cabinet. So, without further ado, we're going to dig right in. Here we go, everybody. Hello, everybody. Today, we're going to be talking about supplement education here and really what's in store for cold and flu season. And today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through couple things. I am Maggie UMD, and I'm a functional and holistic medicine physician and the creator of MYMD Biotherapeutics as well. And what we're going to do today is we're going to go over what are some supplements that you need in your medicine cabinet now. And here's the one thing I hear all the time. What's the biggest mistake that people make when it comes to dealing with cold and flu season? And it's waiting too late. Meaning that you wait till you're sick to think about what am I going to get? What am I going to pick up to deal with these symptoms? And to me, let's get ahead of that by a couple months or even a couple weeks. How do we do that? Is what can I do during cold and flu season to prevent that from happening in the first place? And a lot of us here are dealing with some sort of immunocompromised state, which means that many of us have autoimmune diseases, which means your immune system is busy attacking your own body. So is it going to be good at fending off cold and flu, right? So anybody with an autoimmune disease have an immune system that's going to be less able to react to cold and flus coming in. So do they need immune protection? And the answer is hell yes. Many of us live in a household where somebody in the household has autoimmune issues or some sort of immune compromise, right? And there are children in the house that are going into higher risk environments because who are quote unquote the vectors that are bringing it in? It's children and young adults who are in contact with a lot of other sick people. So a lot of times the people that need protection is actually not even the individual with a weakened immune system is the people that are coming into their home, like children or other family members who are being exposed to high risk population. It can also happen in the homes of healthcare workers. If you work in healthcare, you're going to be exposed more. So whether you're the person that's immunocompromised or there's someone in your home that's over the age of 65 or have some sort of autoimmune issues. Or, here's the other part of this. How many of us don't even know that we have a compromised immune system? You're dealing with symptoms relating to POTS dysautonomia, mast cell activation syndrome, fibromyalgia. There's so many mystery diagnoses, unicorn diseases that people just don't realize underneath it is a compromised immune system. So I think everyone here, and if you're watching this, everyone here can benefit from learning how can I protect myself from getting the cold and flu in the first place? And number two, what can I do once I do have a cold and flu, right? And we're not just talking about cold and flu. We're also talking about the big C. So right now, what I want you to do is in chat right now, hit me up, okay? Hit me up in chat. Tell me where you're watching from. If you're an alumni of any of one of our programs, tell me what program you're an alumni of. That'd be really awesome. And if you are watching me and you haven't posted anything in comment before, I want to let you guys know that I love talking with you. I do not like talking at you. So make sure to hit me up in the comments with any questions that you have. If we have time at the end of the training to go through some of your questions and answer, I'm happy to do that. So without further ado, here's my biggest thing. The biggest mistake that people make is not having, number one, there's two mistakes. The first mistake is not protecting yourself from preventing yourself from getting cold and flu and the big C in the first place. The second mistake is not having a cold and flu medicine cabinet that is filled with green medication, green supplementation, plant medicine, the power of plant medicine. So today we're going to hit those two birds with one stone, and I'm going to educate you on what you should be having in your medicine cabinet, just like I do. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. Here we go, everybody. So this is the page for the immune collection at MYMD Biotherapeutics. And starting today, we're having a 20% off all the immune essentials for the rest of this month. And we're going to put in the link. If you want the link, we're going to provide the link in chat to be able to go directly to this collection. So one stop, this is everything to prevent and deal with symptoms of having cold, flu, and the big C. Now, number one, let's talk about vitamin C, okay? Now, actually, before I even do that, there's something free that's a resource for everybody watching. Do you want my cold, flu, and big C protocol? If you do, put protocol in the chat and we will get it to you. And we will also share a link, and right on the page of our collection right there's a button right on the top where you can download this free cold and flu big C protocol. Now, that's why you don't have to memorize everything that I'm saying. If you want to remember some of those directions or even what the product is or link to the products, you want that protocol, just download it when you get here, or we're going to provide it in the link in chat for you. Just put, protocol in chat and we'll get it to you. Number one, vitamin C is really important. And I'm going to tell you that vitamin C has a role in prevention and a specific dose in prevention. And there's a dose when you're talking about treatment. And I'm just going to say also too, is that I'm not here to diagnose or treat any medical diagnosis. It's really important that if you think you're coming down with something or you're trying to decide whether you're immunocompromised or not, consult your physician. This doesn't replace the consultation with your physician. That being said, vitamin C has a really big role, proven scientific studies. And I'm a medical doctor and I'm also a scientist. Not only do I do that, I'm also a teacher with programs, with all the programs that we work with people, right? So I want to talk about vitamin C as a scientist and as a medical doctor is that it's been shown to be really a great multiple immune functions to help boost the immune system. Now, it has a role in prevention. So there's a dosing for prevention. And when you actually acutely have some sort of viral infection, the dose is really different. So there's different types of dosing. But that being said, the kind of vitamin C that you take is really important because vitamin C is very acidic. And there's also natural and synthetic forms of it. So what you really want is a natural form of it that's highly absorbable at high doses, which is what's needed for prevention and treatment. And you want a form that your stomach will tolerate because a lot of forms of vitamin C are extremely acidic. So we have two forms of vitamin C here because we deal with adults and we deal with kids. And just to give you an example here, Immune C Fizz is one of our most popular products because why? A lot of people we deal with have swallow problems or their kids. And so what I like about this product is it's not a capsule or a tablet that you have to swallow, and the dosing is really high. So when you're looking at dosing here, vitamin C here, 1 scoop, and it tastes good. It tastes like a fizzy drink, 1 scoop into a drink. Kids love it, adults love it. And just 1 scoop gives you 2,569 milligrams of vitamin C. That is a great preventative dose for anybody pretty much from the age of 13 and up once a day. That's it. It's about 2,000 to 3,000 milligrams is a really good prevention dose, and in a form that's not going to burn a hole in your stomach, that's really well tolerated, really well absorbed, and also has quercetin in there as well, which is it's very helpful for the immune system. So this is the vitamin C that's in a liquid drinkable form. And remember, prevention dose, anybody 13 and over, it's about anywhere from 2,000 to 3,000 milligrams. Now, if you're like, I don't want to do that one, I want to do a tablet. Here's a tablet form of this, which is our Powerful C. When you look at the Powerful C here, it's really easy to remember because 1 tablet equals 1,000. And what's prevention dose? Anywhere from 2,000 to 3,000 milligrams. So it'd be 2 to 3 of these a day, right? And it comes with the vitamin C. It also comes with some of these, B vitamins like niacin, calcium, other things that actually help buffer the vitamin C as well. So this is a buffer form of highly absorbable vitamin C. And the cool thing about this is that in the name is the milligram. So when you're like, how many tablets do I take? Well, if you want 2,000, take 2. If you want 3,000, take 3. Remember, prevention dose for anyone 13 over is about 2,000 to 3,000 a day. So importantly, that's very different from treatment dose. If someone was to tell me that I just started a sore throat, I actually have symptoms of body aches or fever, then the dosing, you could at least double that amount. So when you're talking about dosing for actually an acute infection, Like the dosing that's shown to be effective is anywhere from like 6,000 to 10,000 milligrams. So it's easy enough, just double the amount. So if you're taking 2,000 per prevention, think about 4,000. If you're taking 3,000 per prevention, you could go up to 6,000. That'd be a kind of a safe standard up dosing when it comes to dealing with treatment when you first have an onset of the symptoms. So that's the role of vitamin C right there. Some people will ask, well, what happens if there are kids and they're below, if there are kids younger than the age of 13? I would have to dose if they're younger than 13 is what I would do. Now, a couple of things besides vitamin C would be, what are some other vitamins that are really, vitamins and minerals are really critical? I'm going to talk about zinc really quickly. You've heard all the studies, Coldy, some of these things where zinc has a really huge role. And specifically with the big C, it's been shown that zinc is a really important factor in actually activating the immune system and the immune cells making energy to actually fight and heal. So zinc is a really wonderful thing to take, and it's a huge in immune support. When you're looking at the zinc here, what I would do on this one is, as a prevention, one capsule equals about 30 milligrams. 30 milligrams is a really great prevention dose, number one. And then number two, if you're talking about having an active infection, then I would double this as well. Easy to remember. And that would be 2 a day. And I would do 1 in the morning, 1 at night is how I would space it out. So that would be zinc as a prevention, right? And then let's talk about the other vitamin here is vitamin A. Okay, vitamin A is one of the strongest antivirals. It's interesting as a prevention, and whether it's prevention or treatment, cool thing about A is the same dose. It's the same dose. Each capsule of vitamin Pro A is 10. I put the 10 in there just because it's 10,000 IUs. That's the dosing that we need to actually be able to deal with both prevention and when we're dealing with acute symptoms. So that's just one capsule a day. Vitamin A is actually a beautiful supplement for anybody that has things going on with autoimmunity, for example. Vitamin A has several mechanisms, and it has a mechanism of not only being a really strong antiviral, it actually has a role in helping heal leaky gut. So if there's any sort of infection in the gut, and many infections not only infect your ear, nose, and throat, but it can infect your gut as well. Big C being one of those examples. So when I'm dealing with people in our program with leaky gut, or there's some sort of active infection in their gut, taking the proper dose of vitamin A, which is 10,000 IUs a day of bioavailable vitamin A that's active, is really good as a leaky gut support. So leaky gut, so that is the same dose, which is really cool. There's a third mechanism, vitamin A, which is it's really great for thyroid. So anybody here that's dealing with Hashimoto's, low thyroid, Graves, taking 10,000 IUs, which is one capsule of this vitamin A, is also really helpful because it actually helps in the production. It actually helps with proper thyroid hormone production, activation. Several steps of normal thyroid hormone production and activation involves vitamin A. So it's one of those indispensable ones. I call it 3 for 1 because not only is it good for cold, flu, big C, it's really good for thyroid and hormones, and it's really good for healing leaky gut. So what's not to like about it? The key is really getting the form that's really active, bioactive. And number 2 is getting the right amount. And this 10,000 is exactly the amount you need. You don't have to change the dosing for any of those purposes. So that's really important to note. And note that vitamin A, though, at this kind of high dose that's really helpful for these conditions, is also something you cannot take if you're pregnant or trying to get pregnant. That would not be a good dose for example, a developing baby in the uterus, for example, right? So I just wanted to add that to make sure that you understand that, and when taking vitamin A in these kind of what I call therapeutic doses. And if you're having questions here, start to type them in chat, and afterwards I'll take a chance to take a look at those. Now, a couple things is, what's something that I can take to actually help boost, quote unquote, a lot of people like, what is something I can take to actually help my immune cells prevent an infection or deal with early symptoms? This particular product is really great for that reason. It's called Immune Active, and here's why. When we're looking at herbs, I hope you guys can all see the screen here, and if you can, I'm going to share a link in chat so it links you directly to the collection, and you can take a look at that. When we're looking at what are some of the herbs that really fight viruses, echinacea, one of the first ingredients here on the left, is really powerful for that. Elderberry, you guys have heard about the power of elderberry. There's 200 milligrams of elderberry in 4 capsules. That's the dose here, 2 in the morning, 2 at night. There's andrographis, which is really great for viruses and bacteria as well. Green tea extract, which for acute symptoms, cold and flu, has been shown in certain studies, for example, especially the Camellia sinensis part of the green tea extract. And then when you look at the right, wow, there's arabinoic and lactans. And now I want to show something, which is all the mushrooms here. A lot of people talk about the role of mushrooms in actually supporting the immune system, and they are very powerful, which is why when you look on the right here, there is shiitake, there's maitake, and there's reishi. Both, when you look at shiitake, specifically maitake and reishi mushrooms have some really antiviral properties or support of your immune system properties. So this particular product is really great because everything that you can think of that's going to help against viruses, Immune Active has. So notice that on the bottle says the active dose is 4 capsules, right, per serving. So what I like to do with Immune Active is this. I like to do, if you're trying to prevent, just take 2 a day. But if you have early symptoms, take 2 in the morning, 2 at night. Again, the same principle. Double it. So 2 in the morning, 2 at night, 2 in the morning, 2 in the night, if you're starting to come out with symptoms. And I would take it as long as you feel like there are symptoms. And when the symptoms stop, you can stop and go back to prevention dose, or you can stop. So that's Immune Active. And then what if it's the big C? You know it's the big C, or you've gotten it before, you've been tested positive for it. Well, one of the really important aspects to understand about big C is it's different than some of these other cold and flu viruses in terms of the fact that it really loves to attack the mitochondria, which makes energy. Okay. So how many of you guys, are thinking about this and like, do we do something different if we're really trying to prevent, to deal with symptoms of big C? Everything that I said with big C, with prevention, with the vitamin C, with the A, and with the Immune Active stands. Prevention is really important. But if you know you got symptoms and you know it's the big C, what is something immediate that you can do that would really help slow down the replication of that virus, decrease the symptoms? I'm going to tell you, number 1 is double that zinc. Number 2 is add Mito Recovery. Now, I want to share the Mito Recovery with you and what is Mito Recovery and why for me, and I don't think it's just big C. I'll be honest with you. I think that if you have cold and flu, the malaise and the fatigue is so bad with cold and flu that Mito Recovery is good for flu and it's good for the big C. Why? Take a look. Okay. When you look at the ingredients here, everything in here, especially when you're looking at the B6 vitamin, the niacin, the riboflavin, the B12, the CoQ10, everything here is what helps what we call the energy making. There's the Krebs cycle. There's what's called the electron transport chain. These are all happening in the mitochondria. Mitochondria, think about, it's the power plant in every cell that you have. And so when you have a virus or a super virus that likes to infect mitochondria, you can really, number 1, decrease that cell from being able to heal, right? And number 2, the level of fatigue that you experience is literally bone chilling awful. And so hit the mitochondria first and fast. So this is where Mito Recovery really comes in, and you got to do enough of it. That's why the active dose of this is 4 capsules, 2 in the morning, 2 at night, 2 in the morning, 2 at night. And as early as you can hit it up with the symptoms, whether it's cold or big C, the better. So that's Mito Recovery. And this product is really helpful for people with long haul as well. So I specialize in dealing with people long haul. We also deal with a lot of people who have post long haul dealing with symptoms like POTS or mast cell. This particular product with Mito Recovery is really helpful for those symptoms as well. And then I want to add a couple other things in here, which is the other product that I want to talk about is Sinu Plus. How many of you guys are dealing with asthma? You have a history of asthma, or you have a history of what we call allergic rhinitis, or basically seasonal related allergies that deals with your sinus and postnasal drip. Type that into chat, right? So for me, I'm one of the population where I have a form of asthma called reactive airway disease. And if you know what reactive airway disease is, or you have questions around it, you could put RAD, R-A-D, in chat in capital. That's reactive airway disease. That's what as doctors call a form of asthma, where when you get any sort of cold, strep, flu, big C, it turns into this cough that won't stop. And I would call it coughing fits. So that's actually a form of asthma. So for me, I don't necessarily have asthma all the time, but there are different forms of asthma. There's exercise induced asthma, there's allergic induced asthma, but there's also what we call post reactive, which means like it's after upper respiratory infection or very early on. You just get this cough that goes on and on and on. And it's awful. And a lot of times people will end up having to get on oral steroids or inhaled steroids to be able to calm that sucker down. But what can we do about it naturally to prevent having to take those giant dose steroids would be Sinu Plus. And I'm just going to explain it really quickly. What's so good about Sinu Plus? What is the doses for it? I've talked about this in our allergy, how to like improve the air quality of your home, trainings that I've done. But this particular product have what I call the quadruple threat, because the things that you want to do to deal with asthma or runny nose from allergies is quercetin in high doses, number one. And I'm talking high doses. We're going to talk about that. Number two, stinging nettle is a great, great herb. It's one of the best herbs to actually deal with allergies and asthma. Number three, bromelain, which is really helpful. Then number four, NAC. When you combine these four together, along with good old vitamin C, which is what we talked about here, it is to me like this is a quadruple, pentagon threat of dealing with asthma. And people love this product. You can tell from the reviews. We have 10, we have 10 5-star reviews here because this product really works. And it's a great alternative or something you even add when you get a cold, for example. So this particular product, for me, this is how I use it. And the funny thing is, my son does not like to take supplements, but this is a supplement. He'll say, Mom, can you send me some more of the Sinu Plus? Because when you get these asthma reactions, it's real, or allergies is really real. So the dosing for this is, if you're trying to prevent asthma or allergies, usually 2 a day is plenty. But when you're in an acute flare, it's 2 in the morning, 2 at night, 2 in the morning, 2 at night. Again, the doubling principle, right? So this is really great, where how I use it is, I certainly don't want any of my cold and flu to turn into that reactive airway disease cough, that unrelenting cough. So as soon as I get a cold and flu, I take 2 of these twice a day, and it never turns into that barky coughing fit that doesn't go away. And if you know what I'm talking about, type it in chat. So this is a must product for anybody that you already know has asthma or allergies, or every time you get sick, it turns into a cough. Have it in your medicine cabinet. It's a must. Okay. If you're finding this helpful or this relates to you, type helpful in chat or tell me more about what's going on with you, or if you have questions. Now, a couple of things is also vitamin D. Really importantly, minimum amount of vitamin D that everyone should be taking going into cold and flu season is 5,000 milligrams a day. Non-negotiable. You could see all the thousands of studies around vitamin D, cold and flu, and also the big C. So if you're not already taking it, you want to take a form of vitamin D that's bioactive, highly available, also right dosing. So minimum for anybody who's 13 and older, take 5,000. In our programs, we talk about using blood work to talk about dosing it higher. But at minimum right now, for those of you who are not working with us, you're looking for what's a good dose. It would be 5,000 I use without testing during cold and flu season would be a great idea. Number two is, let's talk about ear, nose, and throat. So I want to talk about probiotics, and some of you are going to end up getting on antibiotics if you get strep throat or an ear infection. And this comes up with kids all the time. I just had a conversation earlier today just talking about how often people are struggling with ear, nose, and throat bacterial infections. So this is a chewable probiotic for kids to take every day, or even adults, right? And I work with a lot of adults, even with dental or gum infections. And this is a really great prevention. So I would say one of these chewable, if you know you're prone to ear, nose, throat, or dental infections as a daily, great. But also as a prevention during cold and flu season, because where's the entryway for cold and flu and these viruses? It's through the ear, nose, and throat sinus area. So if you look at the bacteria, which is the soldiers you have lining that area, you want to be putting a whole wall of defense. And that's what Profluor Chewable is. When you look at these bacterial strains in here, they're specifically made to live in the ear, nose, and throat. And there are also specific strains that have been shown to, for example, Lactobacillus plantarum right here it's one of those that help with histamine load. some histamine allergy issues, right? And Lactobacillus salivarius, made to live in the saliva, right? So I wanted to make sure that you guys know that probiotics can be a powerful tool to have as a prevention. And the dosing doesn't even have to change. You just have to chew one per day, whether you're dealing with something or with prevention or whether you're actively dealing with something. Okay. And then finally, this is a bonus we just added on yesterday because someone on a call last night reminded me that how they used it for their kids. So Chris was sharing that her son was dealing with an acute strep infection where the back of the throat literally was covered. And this particular product is really like it's sprayable. It's sprayable. You spray it right in the back of the throat, right where if somebody has a strep throat, somebody has a sore throat, you're starting to come down with it. Some people even dealing with thrush, for example, with candida, you can see it in the back of the throat. This particular product, spraying it, a couple sprays right there in the back of the throat, a couple times a day, I would say 3 times a day for dealing with something acute, incredible. So there's a spray right here that literally is antiviral and antibacterial, made from silver. So that's another tool for you to have on hand in your medicine cabinet to deal with something acute. So this is the list of some of our most popular immune supplements right here. I'm going to stop the screen share. And I'm also going to go ahead and if someone else from my team can show the QR code. If you want a QR code to link to the collection, there we go. Thank you so much. Yeah, if you're like, where is all this stuff located? Here, you can take your phone, you can scan it, and the QR code will take you to our cold and flu collection where you can see all of these products. And they are, surprise, currently all on sale for this month. So feel free to go over there right now. And let's get out of that screen. That'll be really great. Back to me on the screen. Sorry. Yeah. And my screen is a little bit weird where I can't see the questions. Sorry, I don't know what screen I'm on where I can't see all the questions in my sidebar. So what I wanted to do is to make sure that I was able to deliver in a bullet point all the things that you can do to prevent or treat early cold, flu, and big C infections and what's in my cabinet. Those are the things I have daily to take for prevention. But when I have it, they're ready. Because when you actually have symptoms, the earlier you actually treat, I'm going to exit full screen. There we go. The earlier you actually treat with the onset of symptoms, the better and quicker your return is. So like Chris, for example, started the Silverado and the vitamin C with her child immediately. And very quickly, it was just, the covering on the throat was just gone. So the sooner and earlier the intervention is, the more effective it is. So that's why I'm saying stock up. Do it now. Stock your medicine cabinet to prevent, but to also treat with the things in there already. Because the worst thing I have is sometimes people will tell me, "Oh, I just got diagnosed with the flu," and I'm like, "Oh, you need to get started on, like, example, the immune active Mito Recovery, like the moment you feel the first symptom. And the earlier you do it, treat the better. So that's why order it early so you can stock the cabinet with it. So you don't wait till you have something and then you're stuck going to the store and getting whatever they have in the store. And I'm just going to tell you, there are 1,000 reasons why if you go to the store and you pick up Tylenol, cold and flu, it's literally the worst thing that you can do when you're dealing with cold and flu season. And there's a lot of reasons around why some of those medications can actually hinder your recovery. So I wanted to go through some natural options. Now, let's go through some of the comments and any questions that we have. I wanted to see if there are questions. Let's see, any questions? Cool. Okay, I don't see any questions. I see a lot of comments. And Ciara's in the chat saying it's definitely going to get some. Cool. I share the link with you, Ciara. Good to see you here again. Roy says helpful as always. Good to see you, Roy. And then B. Smith says very helpful for loved ones. Exactly. That's the other thing is that kids are one of the major targets to think about with prevention. Because they're actually going to school, they're going into their play groups, they're actually the ones that are going to be coming down with it the most. And how many people have kids that have recurrent ear, nose, and throat infections or asthma? And it can be prevented. That's why I went over preventable. Now, to be clear, if you have a kid who's 13 and above, give them the adult dose. If anybody who's like 13 and below, I would just go with half dose of everything that I talked about. And there's nothing here that we can't give to a kid 13 and under, just saying. Now, vitamin A dosing, though, it's only 1 capsule, so you can't cut it in half. So I would say the vitamin A recommendation, since it's a capsule of 10,000, I would only give to kids who are 13 and older. Okay, that's to answer some of the kid questions. Okay, I just want to make sure. All right, everybody. That's my quick and quick and easy training on how to number one stock up what should be in the cabinet, and then we provided some links to go to collection. And I'm happy to announce that for the whole month of October there is a sale going on, so it makes stocking up now and building that collection before it hits even easier. So I think that is a wrap. So let me make sure I look at everything. I think I got all the answers. That's it, everyone. Have a great day.